This week on Sosbans and Sidesteps, we discuss a historic win for Brython Thunder, how the Scarlets are getting off with Team Wales and the under-20s, a rundown of the community game, and looking ahead to Edinburgh. Hello and welcome to the Sosbans and Sidesteps podcast. Yes, we are back, and joining me, Big M, this week is Mr. HG Rugby and Jon New. Good evening, my friends. How are
Jon,
we?
New.
I'm just going to keep the rotation going until something sticks. I don't know what's happening.
I like Nathan. I really did.
Yeah, well, great. You should have said it to my mother 32 years ago, and maybe we'd be here. I don't know what to tell you.
I did, but she was like, "No, we need to stick something on the front of it first."
Yeah, there you go. I knew I recognized you somewhere. You delivered me, didn't you?
Yeah, I know. I was a pretty awesome 2-year-old.
Yeah, nothing else to say to that. How are you, Matt?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you boys?
Very excited.
Very excited. Oh,
Very
excited.
excited.
Who's excited? It's probably because he's got something to show off to the peoples.
Has Santa been here 10 months early?
No, but Vinted has been shopped on. So, as people know, I'm on the noble quest of collecting Scarlets rugby jerseys, all the most iconic jerseys possible. And I have, in recent times, acquired perhaps the most iconic Scarlets jersey, or at least the most iconic one for all the wrong reasons.
Infamous is how we describe it.
Notorious. Here we go.
The chocolate quarters.
The Rhino, red and chocolate. Oh, it does smell of cupboard.
Do you? You could hear you sniffing that shit.
Yeah, that's an ASMR experience.
The Rhino, red and chocolate thing. And I have a confession to make. I have more than once been asked, why is it brown? And I don't know. So maybe, Martin, I thought you might know. Why is this even a thing?
Because it looks good. I have not. I've never looked into it. Couldn't tell you why.
Okay, that's a relief. So it's not a really obvious question. Thing.
No.
It's not like there's a thing that any self-respecting Scarlet should know.
Yeah, if
it's somewhat of a mystery.
If it was Navy, you could understand it. But
yeah,
Navy would have been good. Yeah. Maybe it's the color of the silt at the bottom of the Locha Valley. Maybe that's what it is. That's where it's marking the border nice and clearly.
Or maybe it's what you get when you have the runoff from the tin plate.
So what year was this?
9-10, wasn't it?
Was it? Oh yeah, because it was Rhino, wasn't it? Of course. Anyway, so it's got a sticker, but things escalated quickly because I bought this, and I was very pleased with it. I have to say, I hung it on my display on the back there, and I looked at it for 2 seconds like, that is fucking horrendous. And so I took it down.
Okay, I mean, we do know that you love buying shirts. So there is a real question that people need to know here, and it is, do you actually buy them in your size and wear them, or you just buy them whatever shirt you can
I
find?
buy them in my size. I wear them less now. I'm having a bit of break from actually wearing them, but now I've got my nice new display case for them. I'm enjoying them very much. But anyway,
which is off screen, and we're not allowed to see.
I bought this, and I posted proudly on social media. Look what I've got! I've got the most iconic ugly rugby jersey of all time, the Rhino one. And someone replied to me and said, "Have you got the other one?" I said, "What? The other one? Have you got the other red and brown Scarlets jersey?" I said, "No." And he said, "Yeah, the Cougar did one year." I said, "Did they? I didn't know about this." And he said, "Yeah, Rhino and Cougar both did a red and brown quarters jersey." And I said, "Blow me down. I had no idea." And he said, "I've got one. Do you want it?" And I said, "Yeah, go on then." So, long story short, shout out Kevin Lewis on Blue Sky, whose jersey this was, sent it over to me. I now have 2 red and brown Scarlets jerseys from 2 different manufacturers.
Look, I'm gonna say that the Cougar one has got to be the first one, because that chocolate bit on the shoulder, the red bit doesn't look familiar at all.
Show us the Cougar a bit more there.
Oh,
it's the Straddy Park on it and everything.
It says Straddy Park. Not only that,
The white lines.
Oh, Llanelli.
It's got the Llanelli logo on it.
RFC 3 feathers. Ymlaen
Now-
Llanelli.
Hang on,
When
look at the main badge. Is it Scarlets? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, it's got.
Scarlet Straddy Park since 1872. There you go.
what's the year of the year on it?
I don't know what year it
1872.
is,
Oh.
but it's early. It's early. But I know I can tell from the design because I've got a 2003-4 Scarlets jersey, and that's Cougar as well. And that's clearly a much earlier style of jersey. So this is later than that. But I didn't know. But the thing is, you would initially think like, oh, they're the same. They're not. They're more than you look at them, the more different they are. Now
Yeah.
they are cut from the same cloth, but as you can see, and when I say cut from the same cloth, they've both got that weird kind of perforated material thing. Even on the sides and the extra perforation on the sides. But you can see the color of brown is slightly different. It's darker on the Cougar one. And I think that works less badly. I was going to say better. And the Cougar one's got white piping.
The white piping is nice.
Both sponsored by WRW.
So they're pretty close together then. I mean,
Both
I've
different
got.
steels. This
okay.
one's
Oh, we've had David Steele since the dawn of time, man.
this one's got the sticker. See?
So Mr. Lewis didn't have 2006. Can you show me the back?
For audio listeners, I'm showing in the back.
Yeah. 2006 I've got here. But that's just someone listing it online. Like, I don't know.
Probably Mart. Because Mart did do the Wikipedia page for a bit.
No, this is listed on a jersey sale site, and it's for Inoke Afiaki.
On the Rhino one, no Sosban. On the Cougar one, Sosban.
This is if I share my screen very
heavier
quickly
as well, I will say.
This is what I found.
0607.
Yeah, well, he was
The
gone. He left the club before 2009, right? So
the semi-final year.
When did he leave? In my mind, it's 2008, 2009, but I'm not sure.
My favorite thing about these old Cougar shirts is that the sleeve sponsors are actually like stitched in like Scouts badges.
Embroidered, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks nice.
No,
I can see it better on the page I'm looking at here than looking at you, but it looks, anything that has a little saucepan in the corner, I'm a fan of. So.
Apparently 2007, like, he was only with us for 2 years, apparently. 05, 06, 06, 07. Yeah.
Really? Okay, so I thought he was there longer. Okay, fair enough.
And then he went to Grenoble, and then Saint Etienne.
You have an encyclopedic knowledge.
It's not. It's just basic searches, and this is wiki again because it's the only one that picked up anything decent on it. Apparently, he was coaching Singapore for 5 years. It's a good shout.
If you could get that, it's not too bad. What's he up to now?
Nothing. Got nothing for the last 9 years.
He became a New Zealand citizen in 2022 and stood as a candidate in the Wellington City Council election that very year.
Yeah, he was caned, wasn't he? So that makes sense.
It's a nice jersey, Huw.
That's not all.
That's not all. Kevin Lewis also sent me this. This is a program.
Oh my god!
Is that
Edinburgh Reavers?
Edinburgh Reavers versus Llanelli, Friday the 12th of May, 2000. Year Y2K. Kickoff 7 p.m.
So that is
Celtic League.
That's in between the borders, dying, being brought back, and dying again. Jesus, that is awesome.
That wee little magazine there is 8 years older than Carwyn Leggett Jones.
Wow.
You know what? If anyone can find a Llanelli program or any program with Glasgow Caledonia on it, I would love that. Only 1 year that team happened, and then Glasgow like, screw this, just give us Glasgow, we're fine.
But would you like to hear the Llanelli team from this game?
Oh, let's go first.
So we got.
I think we know the halfbacks.
What order would you like me to go in? Would you want to go to 1-15, 15 to 9, and then 1 to?
The best
Oh,
way.
This actually goes from 1 to 7. What's your preference?
Goes from 1 to 7.
Yeah, 8 comes before 7 in this.
Yeah, that's the old way. What this 1 to 6, then 8, then 7 in there.
That's how it's down. Yes,
that's the old way.
1, 6, 8, 7. Yeah.
All right, I'll just read it in the order that it's in. Number 15, Garen Evans. Number 14, Wayne Proctor, who was captain on the day. Number 13, Nigel Davis. No idea whatever happened to him.
No, fell off the face of the earth.
Number 12, Dafford James. Number 11, Mark Jones, Scarlets legend.
No idea what he's up to now.
Number 10.
Good, he was working for charity.
Any guesses for number 10?
Steve-O?
No.
Ooh.
Steve was on the bench.
Steve was on the bench. I can't think off the top of my head. It's that long ago.
Gavin Henson.
Gavin Henson playing.
I think we're gonna have to burn that.
Gavin Henson starting at 10 for Nethley. It's
Didn't
nice
know he
to
was
know
ours.
that. Sorry, say again.
Didn't know he was one of ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember him having a go at 10 at any point.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that the tradition of starting 12s at fly-half ahead of fly-halves on the bench is a tradition.
It's a tradition we have kept alive and well. And long may it continue.
Number 9, Patrick Horgan. And then into the forwards, we've got Simon Ems at number 1, Robin McBride at number 2, or hooker, I should say. Tight head, John Davies, just a made-up West Wales name.
Good, powerful scrummager.
Wait a second. I just looked this up because I had something in the back of my mind. That's Gavin Henson's only appearance for us, I think. You can.
It happened.
It was in the back of my. No. I'm telling you what happened, but I think that's the only time he actually lined up for us.
Is that what his
and it was at 10. Yeah, Wikipedia saying
it's literally here in black and white.
I'm agreeing with it. I'm just saying.
Hang on, he's got an autobiography out now. I'm pretty sure none of us have read it, but someone might have out there.
Send Gareth Rousseau after it. He won't find it though.
Into the second row, Anthony Copsey, Craig Gillies, I think. Maybe that's probably how you say that. Dav Jones at number 6, Hywel Jenkins at 8, and Ivan Jones at 7.
Oh, Hywel Jenkins. Good man. Dav was awesome.
Replacements was Martin Madden, Marcus Thomas, Vernon Cooper. This is back when there's only 22, there's no 23. Martin Madden, Marcus Thomas, Vernon Cooper, Ian Boobier, number 20, Rupert Moon, friend of the pod. Stephen Jones in 21 and Celeste Finau in 22.
Christ, I'm surprised he was ever on the bloody bench. The money that boy was on. Jesus. I love you in Martin Mann's name. Best man ever.
So send in more collectible match day programs.
I mean, and thank you to Kevin Lewis. Very enjoyable few minutes there.
Gavin Henson was on more episodes of Strictly Come Dancing than he was on the pitch for us.
I think that extends to more than one of his clubs, to be fair. How many episodes of Strictly Come Dancing was he on?
Well, I mean, you could probably get his Saracens and Toulon caps and our cap all together.
Maybe even his Cardiff caps.
You could pretend. Yeah, I don't watch enough Strictly to know. We need Lee to double.
Hang on. Yeah, all right. There you go. We'll put the call out.
Mm-hmm.
See if we get this by the end of the episode. He's going to be, because normally I only tag Lee in the WhatsApp after we finish recording, peek behind the curtain for the listeners. But so we'll think, they finished early, but no. How many episodes of Strictly?
Oh, we don't need to hear it.
Super Gav
before you can call him a man.
Yeah.
God. Okay.
That
was lovely jerseys, lovely match day program. Has any rugby happened?
Yes. Female rugby has happened as well, and a little bit of history I'm hearing. Brython Thunder beat a very, very good team. Very, very good team.
Brython Thunder became the first ever non-Irish team to defeat the Wolfhounds, the current league champions. I think they've done a three-peat actually. And they became the first ever team in the history of the Celtic Challenge to hold the Wolfhounds to 0, as they defeated at Parker Scarlets the Wolfhounds 14-0 in one of, if not the most historic result in the history of women's club rugby.
Wait, so they were 14-0 at half time.
Yes.
And they held them scoreless for an entire. Oh wow.
Yes.
That's incredible. It's a
Proper
shame that
rugby.
It's a shame that happened on Saturday. I have to go back and watch it again now.
It's on iPlayer. If anybody wants to watch it.
Honestly, I feel more of a big deal should be made of that. Just because that is epic. Like, we know the way Brython and Gwalior have been split in terms of, players. So for Brython to get that result, that is absolutely astonishing. That really is David against Goliath.
And it wasn't even Wolfhound's seconds. There was Dana O'Brien was playing, Stacey Flood was playing. It was all the Linda Zhu Gang was playing. It was their full team.
It was the Irish 23.
It was basically Ireland. Brython Thunder have basically just beaten Ireland.
So what you're saying is Wales are not going to beat Ireland in this year's Women's Six Nations, and it's because they haven't selected enough Brython players.
Exactly. Interesting to decide. Kate Williams was playing for Brython in this game. We don't know why. She is very much a Gwalior girl, but she's right there. She definitely played for them. So
mid-season transfer.
We don't know the story behind that one at all. But in terms of star players, I mean, obviously, all of them. Hannah Marshall got official player of the match, which is great to see. Brython need Hannah Marshall to be a star player, and she was in this game. I want to talk about Georgia Iona. I want to say that's how you pronounce it. Iono. I'm not sure how exactly.
Iona. Is it?
Aiono. I want to say.
Say that again slowly.
But I'll just call it Georgia because she spells Georgia the cool way with J's. So she's Georgia, and she's number 8. She's 18, we think. But my goodness, what an athlete this girl is. I think she got player in the match in our last win because we've beaten Edinburgh back to back. So this was 3 wins in a row for Brython, I think, or at least 3 from the last 4, which is fantastic. She's a heck of a player. She very nearly got player of the match as well. I'm a big fan of both of the Serens, Lockwood and Singleton. One scrum half, one was a scrum half and is now on the wing. I think they've both been excellent in every game that I've watched them play.
Christ, Lee has responded.
Sorry, Brython, we'll be right back with you.
With how many
11
appearances?
11 weeks.
There's never 11 weeks in Strictly there, is there?
And you have to trust him. He's the oracle. So in that weeks. You can get in. You can't. So Cardiff, he had 8 appearances. London Welsh, he had 9. But you can get the Scarlets, Saracens, and Toulon in together because that'll be a total of 7. And Pencoid as well. If you want Pencoid into, then you can have 8.
Well, I don't know how many games he's turned out for Pencoid, to be honest. He may have turned out for a few more than just the one.
Yeah.
Got to think when he was like maybe 16, 17, he probably had a few games.
Can we just refocus on the historic women's rugby result, please?
Oh, yes. yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I say that. I've mostly run out of things to say. Gwen Crabbe and Natalia John in the second row.
Awesome.
Obviously, I thought that... Do you know what? I thought our scrum was excellent in this game, and I thought that the referee should have rewarded it a bit more. The referee did not have a good game, and if he had had a good game, I'd think that we would have won by more.
So he reffing?
Yeah.
So they lost to Wolfhounds a month and a bit ago.
In Ireland.
Massively in Ireland.
Yep.
And in less than 1 month, they've turned it around to beat them 14-0 at home. That is
massive.
I
mean, we're coming to the end.
It's the biggest result the competition has ever seen, unquestionably.
Like we're coming to the end of the season now, because it starts late December and it runs for what, 11, 12 weeks?
There's
Something
10
like
regular season games. There's playoffs this season.
so we're maybe a couple of weeks from the playoffs then.
I think
Can't
we've
be
got
that
2
far.
rounds. I think our next games are. I think we've got Glasgow at home.
If
maybe?
it's at home,
Away,
if it's at
we've had them
home,
at home.
No, it might be away actually.
We had them at home in the first round.
So yeah, so we've got Glasgow, and then we got Gwalior to finish the season, and Gwalior have fallen off a bit of a cliff. They've lost a lot of their top players. Called back to PWR.
getting paid, you mean?
Yeah, it's all to play for, is what I'm saying.
It's great because you've got the win against Edinburgh at both legs against Edinburgh, so the home and away. And now it's momentum, isn't it, more than anything else? And so,
look, I am guilty. Like last season, season before, I did follow Brython pretty thoroughly. This year, I've dropped off a bit. So, what is the table looking like?
I'm glad you've asked.
What's the playoff permutations? Is it top 4, top 2? How's it working?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. That's great.
But so Wolfhounds are currently top from Clovers. Then Gwalior are in 3rd. Then Glasgow. Brython have now actually won more games than Glasgow, but we're behind them on bonus points.
Okay,
and then Edinburgh are bottom.
I can't actually see the points totals on there.
So it's from 6 for Edinburgh, 14 for Brython. There you go. 16 for Glasgow, 24 for Gwalior, 33 for Clovers, and 35
So it's a massive
for
game against Glasgow.
So Glasgow, we're fighting for 4th. Bonus point winning there. Gwalior get fuck all in their game. And then we're playing Gwalior for 3rd. So we can get up to 3rd in the next 2 weeks if results go away.
And then it would be a trip to Musgrave Park to play the Clovers, I think.
We've already screwed over one set of Irish. Let's go another one. Why not? And then just win the whole thing at the end.
I mean, in the park, it was close. It was 15.
It was a good game, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it's more than possible.
So they've put together first couple of games maybe not so much, but the last 6 weeks has been really, really positive.
What's quite funny as well is that the Celtic Challenge social media admin, who God bless him, because that is that takes dedication to do that job. They clearly decided that Wolfhounds were going to win, so picked the photo before the result, and they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, I've only got photos of Brit." Actually, to be fair,
here's a picture of the Wolfhounds not scoring.
Yes.
To be fair, the URC is quite bad for this as well. Like when Welsh teams play against Irish teams, because the Irish photographers, oh my god! Like if you get when you get access to the URC official photos, which we have, you get all of the URC photos, and my goodness me, like any Munster or Connacht game, for whatever reason, you're literally 500 photos per game. It's like what is going on? But you often get, if a Welsh team is playing against an Irish team, all of the photos are of the Irish team. Like there's about 5 photos of Sam Costello at all in the URC official database because he's always playing against Irish teams, and so all the photos of the Irish players.
A small thing on that is I genuinely think it's because the Irish newspapers pay an awful lot of money for photo rights, and there are a lot of photographers around the West Coast, especially in Ennis and stuff like that, who travel a lot. And
I did not know that.
Yeah,
to be fair, they are.
I know a weird amount
photos.
of photographers. So unfortunately, that would be my theory on it.
Do you want to see some of the Thunder's tries? Because they were good tries. I know what you're thinking. 14-0. How good can the tries have been? Great tries. There's one.
Can we get that again? First phase. Oh no!
No. They were driving close to the line, and then they go wide. They go, hang on a minute, with the Scarlets.
They actually went wide.
And it worked.
Straight through the middle, lovely.
Oh, that was it. That was Eddie James. That was actually no. That was more of a Scott Williams try, to be honest.
Amy Williams' try was great as well. Full back, with the wheels on it. This is Ireland International. She's gassing here. See you later.
Yeah.
Hang on.
So it turns out some people can outrun an Ireland International.
So the Wales women's squad has been announced now, hasn't it?
Yes. The wider training squad. It was before this game.
what sort of representation?
Oh, you're testing me here. I'll have to find it.
We can come back to it next. Are we on next week? Yeah, I think we're on next week.
Yeah, we're on next week.
Oh yeah, for this game. Yeah. So we'll talk on next week after another fabulous Brython win and up into fourth of the table. So the question is now: do we want to talk about Wales or do we want to talk about Wales 20s?
You can pick.
Well, we'll be working our way into the community. So let's go backwards. We'll start at the top and work our way down the pyramid. So we'll go for the old boys first. The 21 and above group. So Scarlets for Wales. I think before we really get on to performances, I think we're all really upset about the two boys that went off on the weekend, and we're hoping that it's nothing serious. Obviously, Tane, we believe, is an AC joint, so his shoulder. That's anywhere from a couple of weeks to 3 months, possibly longer. I mean, I know it's not quite the collarbone, but it's attached in that area, and we know how awkward they are to heal, like Sammy will tell to us. And we have no idea what's wrong with Sammy. He's not putting any weight on his foot. We've had no information today, which leads me to probably think that the swelling hasn't quite gone down enough. We had the announcement that Rhys Davis had left the Welsh squad. If they had confirmation.
We haven't had the announcement, have we?
We don't know what's going on with Tane and Sammy. I wonder if wasn't it his ankle that he had a problem with that made him pull out before Cardiff as well?
He did. Yes, he had a gammy ankle over Christmas.
Yeah. Don't hand me off during this podcast. That's incredibly rude. You think of Jonathan Davis too?
Audio listeners, we're really sorry. You've got to switch over to YouTube. It's just so much entertainment. It really is.
When Hugh's camera gets blurry, he has to aggressively palm off the camera until it focuses again. It doesn't look good, does it?
No.
He got trapped at the bottom of a ruck on defending the try line.
Like, I made this point in the group now that we have. Obviously, Karen Legger-Jones has come back.
Has he? Do we know that?
He said he was coming back for Edinburgh, but that was a couple of weeks ago, and I know we get priority when it comes to these sort of games. No, it was the same for Benetton. That was a 20s training week.
Okay.
So, like, literally these last few weeks, we got Sammy, technically Joe, up with Wales, Kaz and Steph Jack Jones with 20s. I think Steph actually went with Llandudno for the first week as well, just to get some minutes. And Ellis Price, who's broken his foot. So we've had no 10s, no contracted 10s at all training with the Scarlets for the last 3 weeks. So that's a scary prospect. Obviously, Billy McBride literally left the second, Benetton finish. Here's your plane ticket home. Bye.
No, he's still there. He's still in Treviso.
He's in kit.
Yeah,
it's still foggy stranded as well. He couldn't find his way off the pitch.
Yeah, he got lost in the fog.
I wish I could say that was true, but we have seen him on television, and he did turn out for RGC quite recently. So yeah, he's back in North Wales. Doesn't belong there, but he's back in North Wales. But yeah, so it's a scary prospect to think that we haven't been able to run a proper session for a good while. Unless we're actually saying to some of the 18s, and obviously, there are some decent 18s out there, but it is absolutely maddening that you can have a professional club without a single boy in a position. Who knows? Maybe our favorite Marek Evans. I think he might only be 16. Maybe he's been called up to train with the boys. Who knows?
I mean, you are kind of in the situation where you're looking beyond the SRC to look for 10s at that point. So,
yeah, but the thing is, even if you do look at the SRC, obviously, Jon and Huw, who's with Llandudno, is absolutely brilliant. He is bang on at that level. He he dominates. He really does. And he was probably on par with McBride to be pulled back in for that week. Obviously, Billy has more experience, professional experience at least. But that is literally the only other real 10 within our region. At this pro or semi-pro level. Quinn's is Ellis Price and Cameron Legger Jones. They, Evan Davis, they've got currently playing 10 for them as utility back. And Llandyfri use Jon and Huw, sometimes use Jack Maynard, who's a 15, and Steph Jack Jones, who's with 20s. So we really, really are limited to, any 10 with at least some form of professional experience in our area. So it's going to be interesting to see who wears number 22 or what sort of team rocks up for us this weekend. But back to Wales. How do we want to do this? Should we go in order of position, or how should we go through it?
Whatever you like. I don't mind.
Let's bottom to top. Let's go with Elias.
Good impact every time he's come on.
Every time it's been very noticeable. I
honestly couldn't believe that Belcher was named for the first game. I was really, really shocked by that. And I was even more shocked by people calling for him to be on the bench for the Scottish game, which it blows my mind. But yeah, both games coming off the bench, he was absolutely massive against France. He was huge. I know Derry had a bad game, but he was absolutely huge coming off that bench.
I thought I saw not a majority of people, obviously, but because one poor performance does not a summer make, but like Lake was off the pace against France, and I did see enough people who were impressed with Elias that thought by choosing Lake as captain, you've kind of painted yourself in the corner, and perhaps it makes more sense to start Elias. I do actually think he's playing. I think he wears 16 very well for Wales.
I agree.
I think it gives him an opportunity to show his USP. I think when you can bring on a real strong scrummager at 55, 60, 65 minutes, whenever they choose to bring him on, it's necessary in international rugby, and he's very good at it. And his darts are looking good too.
Mm-hmm. My only issue is the fact that you bring Elias on, who is our scrummaging hooker. He is the best scrummaging hooker that the Wales have got, But you're pinging him with a tight dead that, look, I'm struggling to persevere with Archie at the minute, Archie Griffin, and Nicky Smith, who he's not a legal scrummager, as in, I don't mean as any scrummager's legal time. He looks for pens. He's not there to give you a stable, strong scrum
in a pushing contest.
No, he's trying to win a pen every single scrum he goes in, and that's not what you want at that point of the game, especially. You want any ball you have to be safe and solid so you can actually do something, because you've got tiring defenses. Don't be wrong, the odd penalty here and there could do massive for you, but when you go looking for it, you give away as many penalties as you win. So
and the stats reflected that in his last season for the Ospreys as well.
So I do think they've missed a trick by not selecting Matthias and Henry Thomas. Look, it baffles me that Henry Thomas isn't involved with Wales and hasn't been for the last couple, campaigns. Just because that's the whole reason he came back to Wales, was to play for Wales, and he is quite clearly, alongside Thomas Francis, our best scrummager.
To argue that he's not in the best three tight ends in Wales is a nonsense.
I'll still back, as a pure scrummager, I'd say he's slightly stronger than Thomas Francis. But you go in apples and oranges. You're really going into fine margins and what you want, how you like to scrummage, etc., etc. And Matthias is just a slightly smaller version of Carey that can scrummage a lot better.
Mm. The thing with Thomas, which is interesting, is when you think about the prop prospects that we have available, like taking Francis, obviously he's very experienced. He's come out of the Pro Day, and clearly his match fitness hasn't been too hindered by playing at what is
By living in Provence. If I lived in Provence, my match fitness would be gone forever.
Oh, that man's blood is 80% cheese at this point.
Cheese and wine.
The major industry in Provence?
Herbs de Provence?
Lavender.
It was Herbe de Provence. Oh, that was a joke that turned out to be right. Very happy with that. It's my favorite part of putting Herbe de Provence in something that you get the
and
lavender
wine. I think also wine.
Well,
it's gotta be
naturally.
Wine.
What I was going to argue is I feel like the prop situation is interesting with Wales because I feel like there's a balance between picking experience and development. And I feel like they are trying to do that, but I don't really agree 100% with the selections that they're going with for it. So you could bring in Francis, or you could bring in Henry Thomas. I would obviously prefer Henry Thomas was in the team, but I do think you can't pick both for the squad in general, would be my point.
Maybe.
It depends. Like if we were talking summer or autumn, I'd probably agree with you. But this is Six Nations. You're the games you want to win. And I know people talk, every test is a test you want to win. Six Nations is different. You there's so much you desperately want to win a Six Nations game compared to playing Australia, South Africa, New Zealand in the autumn or in the summer. Yeah, you want to win, but it doesn't quite have that pull on you, which is probably one of the reasons why they say the Six Nations is the greatest championship in rugby. It has that emotional pull on you more so than the other tests, and even the World Cup do. Like, don't get me wrong, I think the World Cup does need to push on with its importance, but Six Nations, it grabs you differently. It brings together the fact that you can so easily go to every single game. You can plan all year, you can make your trips, especially when you got 3 home games and 2 away ones. You can easily do the whole thing, and the welcome you get everywhere, it's magical. It really is. Okay. No locks in the squad, which argue Jake Ball probably.
Like justice for Jake.
Tane played lock against Northampton. No, that's.
I mean,
there's a certain former Wales Online journalist on Twitter who says that Tane Plumtree should be starting lock for Wales, and Scarlets fans are like, no.
Tane is a lock when your starting locks have both been crocked. Your replacement lock has been crocked, and then your next tallest player has been crocked too. That's when you think about putting Tane in.
I put Eddie James in.
I was about to ask, Matt, are you putting Eddie James in the boiler room before you put Tane in there? 2 of them together, though. They're about.
If I could flip the question around, would Tane Plumtree be a better centre than Lock?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you would. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, so
12 though. You wouldn't put him at 13.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Actually, he does have a bit of pace on him. Think of those off. But he loves the contact. He likes the little offloads out. But that works 12. Ooh, if he's Hawkins inside, I don't know.
The thing is, his scramble defense is really good. So you could put him at 13 because if he misses, he'll track back and get it. So I back him to do that. I mean, that's how he done the shoulder, isn't it? But
you've also got Ellis, me, and Tom Rogers, who are 2 amazing wingers at tracking back in scramble. But yeah. So. Was it first game? Has he been on the bench every game? Yeah, he's been on the bench every game, haven't he?
Tane, no, he started
the first
Scotland.
one.
He started the first one. Christ.
Oh no, sorry, no, started Scotland. No, he started against England as well, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He came off the bench.
He didn't. I'm looking at the England lineup right now. I don't know why I'm thinking that.
That injury has got me thinking both of them started. That's what I was like. So, 2 bench appearances.
As non-executive interim chairman of the regional branch of the Tane Plumtree Defence Committee.
I thought it was league.
I think he's been harshly criticised. I think if people aren't about his yellow card against South Africa was a cumulative team yellow card, and it may have even been a case of mistaken identity. His yellow card against England his options were try and make a tackle or just let him score. And he hasn't given away a penalty in either of the other 2 games that he's played in.
Look, People focus on the yellow card factor too much. Oh, he's a card machine. Vast majority of yellow cards come from team offences. You've given away 2-3 pens in your 22 in quick, or you've given away too many over a set period of time, and you're just that unlucky one that's give away the pen for the yellow card. Like, unless you're given clear cut yellow, blatant yellows for no reason, then it's not a good bloody metric to be marking on. You mark on penalties. That's the only real metric you can have there. And you can think that that's reliable, because you never know when a yellow card. You don't know what a ref is thinking. You can have a ref who bloody gives you a yellow card 5 minutes into a game just because he wants to set the tone. It's going off yellow cards it's not a great metric. And yes, it is an issue. We can't argue it's not an issue, but it's not something to purely judge a player on.
So Tane Plumtree has given away one penalty in this Six Nations so far, which was his high tackle on Henry Pollock over the try line, where it was a try-saving tackle, but unfortunately he has hit him in the face. Joe Hawkins has given away 3 penalties. Alex Mann has given away 4, and Dov Jenkins has given away 5.
I don't think you can really complain too much about players like Jenkins and Mann. Well, I mean, this is the argument. I wouldn't complain that if Plumtree had given away 3 or 4 penalties. I don't think you can complain about him giving away 3 or 4 penalties across 3 games, because you kind of pick a player to be abrasive and play on the edge like that. That's what Jenkins is there for. That's what Mann. I don't particularly want Mann to start in general, but that is his game. And if you pick him, you accept that is going to happen, that's a risk. And I feel the same way about Plumtree.
I do think that those numbers will tell you that they're just over the edge a little bit too much. I think you can argue for 1 a game, definitely. And obviously, Dav is like 1.66, and obviously Mann would be 1.33. So it's marginal. It really is marginal.
Dov Jenkins does so much around the pitch.
Amazing. If you look at his, what would you call it, involvement, and his penalties conceded per involvement, it would be minuscule, absolutely minuscule. Because he goes through so many rucks constantly. He is you need someone who works their ass off at lock, and bye does he. And
he's the hardest working lock in the Six Nations. I love him. I think he's awesome.
Yeah. And we'd love you even more if you traded that shitty Exeter jersey for a lovely Scarlet one. So
maybe we'll do one in red and brown again, just for you.
Yeah,
for you, just for you.
Yeah. Oh no, everyone else is still keeping the white and navy stripe. he's going out in quads.
Pure. No. He's a purist. Got to do it.
Yeah.
Other back rower, Josh McLeod.
I feel like Josh has really been hard done by his evaluation.
I really think he should have been retained in the team.
Why? He was really good in that first.
Still Wales' top rucker. In terms of how busy he is. Like his breakdown stats against England were amongst the best in the whole Six Nations.
His breakdown stats were, but I think the England game in general. Okay, so obviously there were issues. There were lots of issues across the park, but that back row wasn't like if you'd given him Botham or Tane, you would have seen a more balanced performance, I think, from there. Whereas instead he was playing 7. It felt like more of the time he was playing 6 because he basically had to hit every second ruck. So like his stats are really impressive. Yes, he is. I'm not saying he's a bad player. Obviously, we all think Josh McLeod is amazing. But what I'm saying is his stats aren't amazing because he's a good player. His stats are amazing because he's a hard worker and he was left a lot of work to do. And he doesn't naturally, as a person, seem to shirk from that. So if you give him work, he'll do it. And that's what he did for 54 minutes, whatever it was.
It depends where you look, really, how many minutes they were actually on the pitch for.
He went off before 55. I'm sure of that anyway. But
he was on the pitch for 52 minutes.
There you go. So
yeah, I got 52.
So those stats are indicative of his work ethic, but also I'm trying not to badmouth any of the players who are on there, but like I felt watching it that there were jobs being left undone that McLeod was more than happy to step in and do.
Yeah, well, I think to be fair, that England performance is the worst performance I've ever seen from any team in the Six Nations.
I mean, I'm looking at the back row for the next two games, and obviously if we discount Tane from Scotland, because obviously both of them play majority, both of them Wainwright and Ollie Cracknell and Wainwright. If you stick McLeod in either of those back rows, that's a much better balance, and you'll get through a lot more. Because I think we've accidentally stumbled into our 6-8 combination through this injury. I think both of them and Wainwright work absolutely amazing together.
That's my thing. I wrote about this is that combinations worked, but I feel like they stumbled across them by accident, not through planning.
Like, Man had a really good game. I'm not going to say he didn't, because that would just be flat out lying. He had a really good game, but the balance is not.
We've just got to accept that Alex Mann is a fact of life when it comes to Wales now. He has started now 9 test matches in a row.
He started every game that Sherratt's been.
I don't think he played in the Six Nations last year. Since
of course,
Japan,
no, but in Japan, yeah.
Since Japan tour last season, he's played and started every single game.
Started in every game in 3 consecutive campaigns. I mean, I do look. I think our best combination right now would be having McLeod in there and Deeves on the bench. I'm assuming Tane is out, because I do think we're missing that person. Look, I know both of them does work in the ruck. I know Mann does work in the ruck.
Well, you can move Mann back to 6.
I think both of them are too good. I don't know what Mann is. I don't know.
He's a 7. He is a 7. I can't imagine. Okay, in URC level, in like league period URC, he's a 7. I can't see him. I can see him being able to play 6, and obviously he can play 8 as well. But I don't see, if you get to knockouts in the URC, I don't see how you can start him at a position other than 7 when you've got someone like Botham at Cardiff as well. When you've got not Faletau, I can't remember the name of them. Big Al Lawrence. When you've got them there, I don't know why you would start him at any position other than 7 in knockout rugby. And you've got to treat Six Nations if it's knockout rugby. I don't know why you start him at 6. He's got a fantastic attitude, but he's just not big enough, in my opinion.
I mean, big enough's probably another idea. He's just not quite intense.
I know what we'll do. We'll start Eddie James at 6.
He is big enough and intense. He's too nice. I think Eddie's too nice.
What do you want him to do? I think he'd do it all.
Okay, who's next? We're going up. We're on to the man of the moment. Mr. Sam Costello. And let's take a moment, because I think it might have been Monday, the news started peaking that Sam Costello was going to start, all the way up to kickoff, and even for maybe a minute into that game, the shit that was online about Sam Costello being in that 10 shirt was fucking unbearable and disgusting. Like, I've got no problem not liking a player. I got no problem not wanting a player in a jersey, but the vileness, obviously it's not everyone, but 75% of the Welsh fan base seem to just hate him, and I can't fathom why. Like, I've seen people talking. You go on your socials, and it's like people making comments as if they haven't watched him play for years. Is like they've never seen a game of him in Scarlet. They've only seen a few minutes when he's had his cameos with bloody Wales off the bench, or his starts with, what was it, 7 starts, 4 9, 6 centre combos, 6 back row combos. So it's unbelievable the shit that Sam Costello has had to deal with. And he was given half a chance. This wasn't even a full chance, because this was only his 3rd game with Hawkins and James as his centre partners. 3rd game, he's played 2 with the Scarlet. He's only known Hawkins.
This was the thing. People were saying they should play we'll talk about them in a bit, but people were saying, we should play the Scarlet centre combo. It's like, it's not really a combo. It's our least selected together combination.
It's still be 2 games. And I know you can go back to, they played their 20s was a long time ago. And that's 5 years ago for these boys now. I mean, you gotta get over that, for starters. But just wow. Honestly, I don't think Sam was given half a chance. He was given the same game plan as France, and he grabbed it by the scruff of the neck and he just ran for it. He dominated everything that he'd done. He took charge. He does what he does for us. He's literally told. Look, I know people say, "Oh, Thomas kicked the ball away a lot in the first game." No, he's told Thomas, "Give me the fucking ball," and that's what you need from a 10. And then when you're talking the defensive line, one, he will tackle his heart out. We know he's a beast of a tackler.
What I love about Sammy's tackles is how quickly he gets back up again. If you watch him tackle down, roll up, back in the line. There's no lying down going, ooh, I'm hurting, or ooh, that was a good tackle. I'll just lie here and think about it for a second. Yeah. He's literally back up on his feet instantly.
He looks like he's doing drills. It's so good. It looks like he's gone at a tackle back and he's just dropped and rolled and he's back in the line. Sometimes he's a little bit slow. At one point he was a little bit slow behind the I'm forgetting who it was, but he was behind the Scotland attacking line because he'd rolled and then he was just like sort of moseying about there for a little bit looking. He had time to get back on side. He took his time. But his defense is fantastic. But Mark, sorry.
Okay. But it's not just that his individual defense is good. He's a leader in that backline and he would organize his players. Look, okay, we were still narrow on occasion, but you compare, the first two games in terms of how narrow that backline were and then compare to Scotland. And I know you can say, you've had time to sort it out. You didn't sort it out in the first week and there's only one difference in the second week. It's not as if these boys haven't been training for a couple of weeks, beforehand anyway. He organizes his defense. He tells boys what he needs. And obviously having Hawkins and James James definitely used to it. Hawkins will be getting more used to it through training and now a couple of games. They listen and they know what to do, and you can trust your 10 to tackle. Yeah, and this isn't meant to be a slight on Dan Edwards. It's really not. I think he's a really good player and he can develop into one of the best 10s the Wales can have at their disposal. But what we're on about is Sammy's excellence. So he was absolutely superb in everything he does.
You have to look at the body language of his teammates. Like, they're all on their toes. Like, you see this a lot with halfbacks. When the halfback is in the groove, everyone's body language is much more positive, leaning forward with intent, and that's what he brought. And I thought all of his game was excellent.
Well, Mark touched on it very, very quickly at the very beginning of our review of him. But I don't know if you felt it as well, Huw, but before we started recording, Matt and I both said that we thought the game plan was different on the first watch of this game. That something felt so substantially different in how they were going about the attack. I had to go back and rewatch the France game to prove to myself that someone's got to, just to prove to myself that the attacking strategy hadn't changed. And there are a couple of adjustments. There are some things that are different. They bring Adams in as like a second or third receiver at times in the England game, in the Scotland game, which does help like stretch a little bit, and putting Hawkins out on the wing. That I don't think they'd done that in previous games. Maybe they had, but like the difference really was Sammy standing closer to the line, willing to take a few hits, and he did as well in attack. Like he left himself a target intentionally, and the difference was really clear. I'll echo your points as well, Matt. I do like Dan Edwards. I think Dan Edwards is a good 10, and I think if I'm being selfish, I think for Sammy to be the best that he can be, which is what I want more than anything else, is we need Dan Edwards to also be a fantastic 10. And we need the two of them to be competing for that position. We need a bigger Anscombe sort of situation from a few years ago. And although hopefully Sammy's ceiling is higher. But
I think
you want more bigger Priestland. I think you go or Priestland bigger, whatever you want around you want to do. I thought of it earlier.
The game plan though, it's I think to really I've been thinking about this a lot, because with what's happened to Dan Edwards over the course of the first two games of this Six Nations, as I've seen a lot of like Ospreys fans, what they've been posting about it, and his treatment and the opportunity he's getting, and the system he's being asked to play in, and stuff like that. And honestly, a lot of it, I've looked at it and gone, I was saying the exact same thing about Sam Costello when he was going through his struggles in a Wales jersey. And so it's made me reflect a lot, and it's really made me think about what's different, or what the similarities have been between Dan Edwards' jersey wearing 10 for Wales and Sam Costello's journey wearing 10 for Wales. And for me, I think to really understand it, you have to go back to the Japan tour last year, where Matt Sherritt's taken 2 10s on the tour, and he's given them a game each. And whether that was planned or whether he's reacted to the result in the first game and made a change, don't know. But we lose the game that Costello played in, and we won the game that Dan Edwards played in. And not only that, but Dan Edwards scored the try to win the game. So obviously, young Welsh 10 from the under-20s comes in on his first start for Wales, scores a try to break Wales's losing run. Obviously, the hype goes through the roof for Dan Edwards. And then he starts in 7 consecutive test matches for Wales. So the coaches clearly just back him and go, yeah, okay, we're going to go with this guy. But by the France game, by halftime in the France game, it was like, whoa, okay, this has become a bad situation now, because like there was that attack on halftime where Wales went through 13 phases and Dan Edwards didn't touch the ball, and you're thinking, what's gone wrong here? And unfortunately, something had gone wrong. And I do think that the coaches need to shoulder a bit of responsibility for that, of how much they pursued something that's, to me, never really felt like it fit. Because if you look at if the Wales attacking system is the Cardiff attacking system, look at the Fly-Halves that Cardiff have got, who they've had, and what they're expected to do. It's not at all analogous to what Dan Edwards' natural game is, unfortunately.
I'm interested to know what you imagine Edwards' natural game is, because for me, I think of him as not a ton of involvements himself, but leading like a large amount of attack, a lot of ball in hand play, higher possession for his team, which I don't feel like for this Wales team fits the way that we should be looking to play.
If you look at his touches per minute, he is the lowest of any of the Fly-Halves who've played in the Six Nations so far. And I think if you watch him play for if you watch him play for the Ospreys, you see that he often doesn't stand at first receiver. He's usually standing at second or even third receiver. He wants his touches to be in the wide channels. He wants to be making the line breaks and get second touches. He wants to get the ball, pass it, and then get it back again straight away. Whereas if you compare to Evans or Costello or Sheedy, someone like that is always first receiver. And Dan Edwards is not, his first thought is not to stand at first receiver and distribute. That's not what he wants to do.
So he's not a general, as what we see with Costello and generally what you see with majority of tens then.
If you want to give him the archetype of that, no, he doesn't fit into that sort of general mold. If I'm sure he's still calling plays, he's still controlling the game, but he's doing it from wider out. It at a regional level, I think it works, or a URC level, I think it works because it forces your 13 to defend him, not necessarily more aggressively. I think if anything, you have to stand off him a little bit more when he's out wider, because he is a genuine run pass kick option. It's just as any 10 should be, it's just the fact he's standing in that position. But like internationally, like the caliber of 12 and 13 that you're going up against, they will make those decisions probably faster than he can make them himself.
Yeah, because what I'm thinking is where he is standing out, obviously it's more on how a defense would line up. He's not coming up against flankers and hookers, basically running 1,000 miles an hour just to get into his face. He's got, your centers who will run, they'll slow, they'll shift. You do have that more time at regional level, and obviously this completely not the case with internationals.
What that also means is that his touches are low. His touches per game are low, and this is the point that I'm making, is that the match error attack system is not that. It's about the ball goes from the 9 to the 10 to the 12, and if Dan Edwards is stood at 13, that it doesn't work.
I mean, that was what was really frustrating. I felt like when we were getting Sammy back before Christmas, and we don't know if he was back. I remember it was Hawkins was in a 10 for the Stormers game, and then when Sammy came back, and I felt like I was watching him play, and I could see the position that he was taking, and we'd just come off the autumn internationals, and I was thinking at that point, like, why isn't he the starting 10 for Wales? Because this is not the same attack, but the shape is so much more similar than what the Ospreys run. And we saw it. To bring it back to Sammy, it is, if you just have a natural general style 10, if we're calling him that, who has more touches, more actions per minute, and is at first receiver and is shaping the attack, then it works better.
To give another example, just to show that it's not just about hammering Edwards. I'd say that Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu is similar to Dan Edwards in that he's not really a general. He wants to be making the line breaks. He wants to be doing the highlight reel stuff. And this season for the Stormers, he's being required to be more of a general, and he's honestly struggling a little bit. And he relies very heavy on Damien Willemse to kind of make it work for him. And just in the same way that Edwards needs Jack Walsh at the Ospreys. So it's when we say that Edwards isn't a general, that sounds just like criticism. We're trying to be as fair as possible, saying horses for courses. And I feel like it was always a bit of a square peg in a round hole, in my opinion.
It's literally just play style. It's not saying I think Edwards is a fantastic player. It is a play style point. I don't know why you wouldn't give him Hardy even. Like, I understand that obviously Thomas is our best 9 option, but like, just give him, if you want him to succeed in that position, they had to give him players he was familiar with around him.
Yeah, and that leads back into with Costello, what having the centre pair, and he's actually played with, consecutively at least. So I'm gonna have to apologize already, because I think we're approaching the hour mark quite rapidly, and we're not that far in.
We talked way too much about Gavin Henson on Strictly Come Dancing.
We did. Well, apparently we've had even more information. Apparently week 11 means 22 appearances, so
back to his Wikipedia page.
Wow.
I think that means you could fit in Cardiff and
yeah. Okay, on to the centres now. So Joe Hawkins and Eddie James.
I don't really have that much to say about Hawkins.
No, he's been okay.
Solid.
Yeah.
He's outperformed Thomas.
And
I feel like that's clear, no?
Again, not a slight Ben Thomas, but we again at international level, that doesn't seem all that difficult.
For me, if I was picking the Wales team, I'd be going 6-2 with Ben Thomas wearing 23 every week. In my opinion, that's just me.
And who will be off the pod from next week? You're joking. Yeah. But if we switch over to EJ, pick whatever number is relevant at this point.
Can I say one quick thing about Hawkins?
Go on.
Is them putting him out on the wing, moving him 12, moving him 13, moving him distributor in the last game, popping up all over different places in attack. That's what he is good at. That's what he is versatile at. And that is, I feel like they used him properly in attack in that Scotland game. He wasn't always in the 12th channel like you would expect. He was all over the place, and it worked really well. That's just my only 2 cents on it. Is I thought that where he has shortcomings in other places, and sometimes if you just keep him at 12, his shortcomings, let's not mention 10, his shortcomings were a little bit more obvious. But I felt like in the Scotland game, definitely like in attack, he shone really clearly for me.
A little bit lucky not to get a red card.
Oh yeah, forget that bit. Yeah. Other than that, wonderful.
But I think he's growing into it. I think there's this huge expectation on Hawkins, and there has been for years. And I think he's justifying his selection. I don't think he's pulling up trees yet, but I think he's growing into it.
Now that the 10 cloud has kind of been moved away from him a little bit because of his performances for us over Christmas. I feel like, yeah, he had a little bit of a dip that was still obvious after that playing in 12. My optimistic thought is that that has taken some of that pressure off him now. And that with Eddie outside him, we'll talk about it, who's going to be starting 10, but I'm just hoping that that's going to, he can move forward without that pressure of thinking that he has to be our backup 10 now moving forward.
Yeah. So, Eddie James, I mean, what job hasn't he been given these last 3 games?
I think we just have to accept the EJ13 thing. If you can check the tapes, the moment that we signed Joe Hawkins, I said EJ13 is coming, and it's here now. So obviously everyone's been calling for Watkin to come in, which I cannot back. My personal opinion. I think we've just got to accept EJ13 is reality now, and anything that's a little bit rough around the edges, such as defensive positioning, we just got to wait for that to be fixed, because his performances.
He'll work with Joe Roberts week in, week out. He'll do his extras and he'll get him there.
His performances, ball in hand. I mean, he is literally, and you can Google this. This isn't just hyperbole. He is literally the best post-contact meters per carry in the Six Nations of any player for any team by a fair chunk. He's like 40% better than any other player.
And we've supposedly played the 2 best teams in the first 2 rounds. Obviously,
maybe 30%.
Something's changed slightly with the first team and that, but we'll leave that there. But no, I can't. Obviously, if you're going to nitpick, defense is the one thing you're going to nitpick on is positioning. But again, this is in terms of professional appearances at 13. What are we talking? 8?
6, I think I counted.
There we go. 6. That tells you everything. You know what I mean? And obviously there are scarlet ramifications for this as well, just because of the players we have. But in terms of Wales, he is the only 13 option, even though he's not really a full 13 yet. In that squad, you can say Owen Watkin, like you mentioned, but okay, you got someone who will defend and defend well, but that's, and again, no meaning to slight, but that's about it. Watkin doesn't have the attack, the pace.
Watkin is now on his 4th Wales coach. None of them have favoured him. He's been around for 10 years. He's never been picked.
Yeah. And then the other option is Louis Hennessy, who I've no issue being in the squad, but when you're including him as a main contender, you're like, is this the same issue with Archie Griffin? He's not being played regularly in his position. He's getting some games on the wing, but he's not being played regularly in the position we want him for his club. So why on earth are we trying to push through with it at international level? No, if he was there like Max Page was on the Japan tour as a training boy or whatever, then I got no problem having players in to do that.
He's got 1 Prem game at 13 for Bath this season.
Yeah,
he's got 1.
Does that differentiate between Prem and Prem Cup?
Yep. Yeah. I think I've accounted for Prem Cup. He's got 1 Prem game at 13. He had 3 last season.
That's not international selection. That is young boy. Okay, let's have a look at you. Blah blah blah. Don't get me wrong. I know Bath is a strong team, but it's.
Well, also you got to. Who's he played against then? So he played against Sale at home. He played against Bristol away, Saracens away, both losses, and then his 1 start at 13 for Bath was Leicester away, and they lost.
I mean,
that sounds like I'm hammering him. I'm not hammering him. The point that I'm supporting is these young players being plucked in, and some people calling them to start, and it's like there's especially with players playing in England, we know this is a thing that if you play in England, it's like, oh, you have to start for Wales, even though there are players in Wales who are doing more.
But let's just look at it the other way for a second, rather than saying hammering him. Like, if his 1 Prem start for Bath was against Leicester away, you said at 13, like that's not a trip that you give a kid that you're trying to put some confidence into. Like that's you can't consider that he's. There's a bit of a problem I also have with some young Wales players who end up in the English system is that it does feel a little bit sometimes like you are a cheaper tackle back option sometimes. Some of the teams, some of the clubs, and it is like it's very hard to get yourself out of that position. I mean, look at how many starts did Hawkins have while he was down in Exeter?
Look at Brian Bradley.
It's just not. It's unfortunately, it's not, and it's not their fault for being there either. It's definitely not their fault being there. Like it's our system that has left them over there. We've abandoned them to some extent.
Cardiff are begging for centres at the moment. And they're all playing in England, unfortunately. Anyway, but this show will never end if we keep talking about Bath centres.
Okay. So yeah, Eddie James absolutely awesome, amazing.
Do you feel his positioning is 100% terrible, or do you not just think there's a little bit of a defensive structure that's pushing him there a bit?
I've gone back and watched it a couple of times, and I don't think his reading is the problem.
Oh, his reading.
I don't think even if you look at some of the line breaks, it's not that he's made a misread. It's that he's disconnected from the rest of the line. Like there was one against France where he's quite a long way further back from the rest of the line. He's read the play correctly, and he's correctly seen what is going to happen. And he normally gets his hands to someone. Like the one where Jalibert goes on his outside shoulder. He tackles Jalibert, but Jalibert gets the offload away. I do think that his positioning and his connection with the man inside him is leaving him exposed.
But that, again, that's time. That's when you've got, obviously, if we go back 2 games, you've then got a 12 who's covering 10 and 12. So there's going to be that space here in the defensive line. So there are extenuating circumstances, but it is obviously a work on. And let's be honest, when you've played 12 and you've got whoever it is inside you defending, you do dictate that line because you're 13 and your wing follow off you. When you've only got the wing outside you, it does make that those gaps more obvious and a lot harder to recover from. But enough about that. Let's get on to our back three, boys. And obviously Tommy Rogers is he's coming home to coming home. He's going to Scotland to play Edinburgh for us.
Mm-hmm.
Can anyone figure out why he hasn't featured?
I get them backing Josh Adams, and I always find that with Josh Adams, even if he doesn't stand out in games, if you go back and rewatch and you look into the stats, more often than not, Josh Adams has actually had a good game. So I don't mind them backing Adams. I'm surprised that Hamer Webb got a go over him.
I wasn't as surprised about that when I realized that Duhan was going to be starting. And I thought they do like to bring him into the midfield to attack quite a bit. And we did see Gabriel Hamer Webb defend there at times as well. And so I wonder if they were just thinking of a horses selection for that. But I agree with you in terms of Adams, especially. Really, really used often, used as a distributor in attack as well at times. Not that Tommy can't do those things, but obviously they have tried before to shift Adams into a 13, and they are clearly trying to go for a very fluid sort of most of the backs can play in most positions, and I do see why they go with Adams over him for that. It is harsh, but I can see why they're doing it.
Yeah. So we'll go by minutes then. So Blair Murray got his only opportunity off the bench in the Scottish game.
Didn't get many touches, can't say much.
So obviously we spoke pre-Six Nations, rightfully not involved in the 23 originally because his form has been really down in the doldrums. But even though he didn't have that many touches, he looked lively. He looked ready and willing and raring to go. So I think that's that is a positive more for us as Scarlets than there is for Wales at the minute. Cause it's probably not necessarily what is required. I do think that obviously he showed last year with the way he was hopping, skipping, and jumping. against Scotland. His style of attack, his jinking, his moving, it does stand out against the Scottish backline. But obviously, he didn't get that many opportunities.
I'm wondering if
to show it.
he might have been a smart selection against England because of the way that England kick and stuff. If you had Blair Murray running it back, it might have.
I'll be honest. He was never not going to be selected, but Lewis Rees-Zammit hadn't played a good game at 15. Since Bristol put in there in December, he had not played a good game at 15. Yeah, okay, he's had a good couple of games now with Wales, but realistically, you weren't putting Zammit and Murray, because Zammit was always going to be in the back three. You weren't putting both of them in a back three against England when you know George Ford is going to kick the leather off our ball.
I think it was always going to be very unlikely that we saw. Well, I thought it was unlikely we were going to see Murray in the back three for the first 3 games in general.
Yeah,
it's
interesting that we haven't had him back though, isn't it?
Well,
I'll be honest. If you look at the squad that's been left now, so apparently the English boys are actually staying in camp because there's no Prem games. Obviously, I'm not a good thing. So there's 25 boys, in that camp. So Sam Wainwright's not going to be in the 23. Louis Hennessy's not going to be in the 23. So that means there's 23 players in camp plus Thomas Francis. That's who we're selecting the squad from. So the only, obviously, some orders, who's on the bench, who's not, is the sticking figures, and one back three player is going to miss out. That's literally the only. If you're Ireland and you're looking in, 22 players who are definitely going to be playing against you.
One other thing is they're still shy a lock now, right? Because they're not going to continue through with because what Beard,
Carter,
Williams,
Freddie Thomas,
Carter, Thomas, sorry,
Jenkins,
and
no Williams.
Yeah, no, Freddie Thomas. I was thinking Freddie Williams for some reason. Carter and so
it's 4 there now.
Yeah, but Reese has been released. Reese Davis.
Yeah, but
they're not going to bring someone in who's going to start anyway. No.
No. Like, I'd imagine they're going to be training more with the under-20s. I think I'll be honest, in the last year, they've been doing a lot more than that, which is good on both accounts. But I can see that happening this week, definitely.
Yeah.
And, 4 locks, okay, it's not ideal, but that's enough to run training games against each other. Look, and then it's just for, what, 2-3 weeks? That's not then.
And then I think Ellis Mee, I would bring him back to play against Ireland.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
I didn't hate Hamer Webb against Scotland, but he should be back for Ireland.
Yeah, like Ellis Mee. Look, I know you get the vitriol with keeping Adams over Mee. But there are reasons to it. You can understand keeping the experience of Adams when you're bringing in a new winger opposite him. In that back three when Zammit still learned his way at 15 as well. But Mee has been the best back three performer this Six Nations for Wales. There's no, and he hasn't even played in all 3 games, and I think he's been subbed off as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he went off against England. Well, no, France.
Yeah, both games, 52 and 54 minutes, and so basically in 106 minutes.
For Grady both times, no?
I believe so.
In the first 2 games, he was the player who I heard non-Welsh fans praise the most. I said, Ellis Mee's good.
A lot of Welsh fans as well. A lot of people seem confused that he was coming off or being taken out of the starting or just the 23 in general for Hamer Webb.
Yeah, and then obviously the Murray factor on the bench, but I don't think Mee works off the bench. But that's for different. So more like 106 minutes out of the 240. He's been the best back three player.
But the issue with that back three is Adams' X factor. What he brings that no one else is bringing there is more defensive than anything else. Like he doesn't have an attack. He doesn't have the finishing. He doesn't have the attacking anymore.
Oh yeah, like lack of X factor then, rather than.
Well, what I mean is he's defensive, right? Like he reads well. He could shoot out the line. He could shut something down. He could intercept. He could do all those things well still.
He's also scored in all 3 games, hasn't he?
Yeah, but And
But
unless
he's
it's nice
scored.
individual efforts, scoring is you just score the try.
He's scored because he's a winger, not because he's Josh Adams. He's been in the right position at the end of an attack. I feel like that's been his,
And he's a
I'm not
left
against
winger.
him.
Yeah,
Just,
he's a left winger as well. If you're a left winger in an international team and you're not scoring tries, there's a damn problem.
Yeah, true.
But Zamet, while Zamet's been going well, I still think playing him at fullback, his speed just isn't as effective. So he loses that element.
Lads, he's been by far Wales's most dangerous ball in hand player.
No, he's really good. I'm not saying he's bad at all. But what I'm saying is, you take by starting him at 15 instead of on the wing, his speed is not as relevant. When you're talking about counter-attacking.
No, but he gets more touches.
He does get more touches, but he's not doing an insane amount. What I'm saying is, I think if you start him on the wing, you have a bit more X factor from him. The thing is that me is the only player out of the three that I feel brings a really interesting attacking style on the edge at the moment. That's why we ended up having Hawkins on the wing in the last game. I feel like because we didn't have anyone interesting to go down the wing at that point.
Yeah, I mean, on the subject of Zamet, and I didn't realize this, but he had actually played 15 for Wales before. But what is he primarily? Is he a left winger or a right winger?
Left winger.
Okay, so this.
Oh, sorry.
I think he's right. No.
Well, I'm thinking I'm trying to think now. I've seen him play both.
Yeah, I know he's played both.
Yeah, he can.
So thinking if you're going on the left wing, then realistically you're up against Josh Adams, and you should be up against Blair Murray. And then if you're on the right wing, it's obviously Ellis, me, Tommy Rogers.
Okay, so according to All Rugby, he's 74% right wing.
So right wing. So he's really, if you could put him back on the right wing and put Ellis Mead 15. Ellis Mead would, and I don't.
Man,
Ellis is a 15.
Yeah, he will be, but not yet.
What do you mean he will be, but not? He was a 15 when he came to us. He's still a 15 now. He's playing out of position.
He's barely played there.
The same with Zamet. Zamet's barely played there.
For me, Zamet at 15 at the moment is ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's not broke, but it's not It's not working amazingly, but it's not broken.
Nothing about Wales is working amazingly.
Except 50 minutes of the 10 against Scotland. That worked amazing.
Anyway, come on, lads. How long will we be going now? Like an hour.
Infield pick and goes. We didn't talk about that. That's my favorite. Midfield pick and goes around the 22. Oh, give me more of that.
Okay.
Did you see they sent Wainwright on an NFL jet sweep pickup? I haven't seen that in years. Do you see that? He's standing at the pillar position in attack, and then there's no scrum half, and suddenly he just goes. And he runs around the side, picked up the ball as he goes, hits the line on a 45-degree. That is American football stuff. I feel like I haven't seen someone do that since the early 2000s. That was great.
Some proper nostalgia there from Jon, Huw. Okay, on to the under-20s. We haven't had a great deal of boys playing. Obviously, we'll start with the man of the hour in our team, which is Carwyn Leggett-Jones. He, honestly, I think, whoever's making the balls for this competition, is really questioning, making that agreement, because they've got to be behind in the amount of balls they've had to make for this boy, because the amount of times he's booted that ball and how far he boots it, and it finds ground. I mean, you've done the stats too.
I think he's top for kicks bounced. His primary strategy seems to be kicking. He seems to.
He's a very adept
to
kicker.
Do first.
He is a very, very adept kicker, but
So he's currently top point scorer in the under-26 nations. He's second for kicks in play behind Friday, the England scrum half. Second for kicks bounced and second for kick meters. And when you watch him, he's made quite a lot of mistakes, but very few of them have been actually punished by the opposition. And it's the reason that he's making a lot of mistakes is because he's trying stuff that he's trying things that no other player in the under-20 championship is even trying.
I see. This has been you can go back to last year during the under-18 Six Nations Festival, and I was saying the exact same thing. He is doing everything he can to find out what works and what doesn't. He's in a new era now. He's into the professional game. These boys, they are professional players. What can and what can't I do again? So he's going to be doing these things. Like his touch finders, he always pushes them, and you'll get the odd one that goes dead. Same as his kicks in behind. Like vast majority will be absolutely pucker. They'll find grass. They'll go and touch whatever. But you'll get the odd ones that just don't work, or they come off wrong. Like they'll hit the wrong part of his foot or something. But even though like we said, kicking seems to be his primary focus, I find him similar to Sam in the way that he runs and the way he marshals players around him. He likes the ball in his hand. He likes putting boys into space.
Yeah, that's why we're fortunate to have him coming through and Sammy on the books, because it does let us keep a very similar play style when we've got the two of them. And hopefully he's going to be on the bench for most of next season.
His pass is so fast as well.
Pass is good.
I
love his kicking style as well, though. It's
low,
it's hard. Yeah. And he the amount of times I feel I've seen him turn a winger now on to chase a 50-22 or something. It was great in the Benetton game. It was even better against England. And and the Scotland
against
game.
England, he was the best player on the pitch by miles.
The thing is, we beat England. He stays on the pitch. I 100% believe we beat England if he stays on the pitch.
So I think for people saying, "Oh, he makes a lot of mistakes," I think you're missing the point. I think the plan for him now is just play as many games as possible while he's young, while he's elastic. Just play as many games as you can.
And this is the same for anyone in the under-20 setup. Stefan Emmanuel, Tom Bowen. Cardiff got a game this week. Play. If they call for you, play. There's no reason these boys can't be playing 30, 35 games a season. Easy. Obviously Carwyn is, the younger age. If he was still playing the rugby his age suggests he should be playing at least twice a week. He should be playing a school or college game and then a game on the weekend for his club, and then obviously into the rack. Boys should be racking up dozens and dozens and dozens of games before they get into the senior academy and those numbers start to drop.
You see this is what the Irish system gets wrong. And even the New Zealand system, you can almost say as well, is that players leave the under-20s and then they just don't get opportunities. So Carwyn Leggett's in the under-20s now as an 18-year-old. Just play as much as possible. Just play as much as possible.
The thing, I do feel kind of bad for him because, he was born 2007, I believe. So, he was in the under-20s last year. He could have gone for record caps with the 20s record, quite a few records in there. But realistically, if Sammy's injury is as bad as it could possibly be, he's going to be starting for us, and I'll be honest, if his development, the way he plays now, how comfortable he was against Benetton, that builds over the next 6-7 weeks, whatever it is. I don't see him back with the 20s. Maybe the Junior World Cup this summer, but I don't see him with the 20s next year. He'd probably be more in line with the Nat squad than going back to 20s, because that's his trajectory at the minute. That's the signs that he's showing, which, quite frankly, is fucking ridiculous and amazing at the same time.
See, the thing is, like you were saying, there is a naivete in his playing, and that is to do with him being 18 and being the player that he is, and it's enjoyable. The amount of people that I feel I've had to remind online that he has just turned 18, and people are like, "Oh, this kid's coming on and he's doing all these crazy things." It's like, yeah, of course he is. And you know what? A shocking amount of them are coming off. So let him refine what he's doing and let it happen. And if we are unlucky and Sammy's injury is as bad as we fear it might be, we're going to have a lot of this to watch in the rest of the season.
It's going to be fun. It's probably going to be frustrating at moments.
Yeah, but let the fun rule.
There's going to be games where it goes wrong quite badly, but
it's
just going to happen.
But if you're a fan and you're watching at home, do not go in on this kid. Be along for the ride. It's going to be great.
Okay.
And
I need to keep going, Mark.
Yeah,
okay,
I do have
it's going
to
to be
point
the
out one more
shortest
thing.
community thing ever if we keep going on about this.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind. Okay, back row. I mean, technically, we've got a few back rowers to really talk about. So if we talk about just the Scarlets players, obviously Ocean Williams started the first 2 tests. Very solid. Compared to the game I watched for him play for Quins early in the season, where I wanted to bang his head against the wall because he would catch the ball standing still and then start running. That's been corrected, and for when he did carry in these 2 games, he looked good. Like he's just very solid. But it's understandable why he was in the 23 against Connacht that got called off. It's really interesting to see how this back row develops. There's so much back row talent in just this age group, and vast majority of them have come from us, from West Wales, I should say, not just Scarlet.
Shout out to Dean Gwyn as well, no?
Yeah, that's
Aberystwyth Dan Gwyn.
Yeah, and obviously Newcastle Emlyn's Kyo James. Both those boys started all 3 games. Dayan has been immense. You can see why he's already breaking into the Gloucester team. Dom Kossuth, he came off the bench in the opener, done his job. He's another 18-year-old. He's a big boy. He's a Kidwelly lad. John, you probably know the Kossuths. But
you say this every week, and I have to tell you every week, I don't. I'm sorry.
You do. You're lying to me. You're hiding things. I can see it in you.
If you're listening to this and you're a Kossuth, hit me up. We'll go and have a Welsh cake at the castle or something.
Happy days. Learn about the March of Lords. Kill them all. Okay, going down then, it will be the tight heads. Jack Pritchard, just like Karen Legger-Jones, he likes it low, he likes it hard. That boy is a scrummager for the ages. I said it, I think it was 2 years ago when I watched him in the Under-18s Festival, and I said it on the pod, and I love this boy. And the way he's progressing, he's going to go on. He's going to do great things. Because, I love him. That's all I can say. Pritch, I love you. It's probably not the first time I said those words for other people, but there we go. First time him. Iestyn Cook came off the bench in this last game. Iestyn has had a torrid time with injury, but he's an animal. He's a similar physique to Archer Holt. If you want to look at size wise, he's just built like a brick shit house. You stick a bodybuilder's physique with a bloody powerlifter's strength. That's what you're looking at with Iestyn Cook. And how he done well. He had a brilliant flexibility to get the jackal turnover that he did. And I think it was a knee issue that he's been out with, so that he's kept on with that. That's great to see that it didn't fold. So happy days. Good under-20s. We're looking forward to seeing more of them. So I'm guessing it's now time for the community.
Yep. You're on a timer.
I'm on a time. I'm going to go fast. There's not that many games to talk about. There's some extras, but obviously with what we're seeing, we want. Okay, in the SRC Cup, it was the final round of fixtures, and what goes up north stays up north, because RGC 54, Carmarthen Quins 19. What could go wrong did go wrong. Gabe McDonald played a 10 for the second half. This is just the indication of things that happened in this game. So boys that turned out, Ben Williams, Rodri Lewis, Thomas Williams, the aforementioned Gabriel McDonald. On the bench was Keanu Evans and the returning Ioan Jones. Be interesting to see how he goes. Yori Badam is injured. He's done his hamstring. I think he's out for about 6 weeks. So not good for Quins, not good for Scarlets. The other game that was meant to go on was Llandovery against Ebbw Vale. Now, depending on your source, this game was called off because of the weather or for a waterlogged pitch. Either or. Games this week, so Llandovery did finish top of their group. They now have a home fixture against Pontypool in the semi-finals of the Cup. Carmarthen have to travel to Swansea in the semi-final of the Plate, but do not fret, because we've already gone to Dunvant once this season and come away with a win. Come on, Quens. Into the Premiership, no games to talk about. Narberth are heading to Cardiff Met. Connecticut Wanderers are hosting Bather. Bather, I believe, beaten Neath in the last couple of weeks. They were in the Championship East last season. Honestly, for Bather to be above Pontypridd, if you know the geography, they're right next to each other. Brilliant for the town. Brilliant for the rugby club in general. Championship West, a very disappointing 12-10 loss for Ammanford away to Kenwick Hill. This is it put a bit of a dent in Ammanford's, attempt at the title and promotion. They needed Bonamine to drop some points, but they need them to drop a few more now. So see how that plans out. This Saturday we've got Ammanford against Gleneath, Aberystwyth travelling to Bonamine, Crymych hosting Tartar, and Newcastle Emlyn travelling to Trebanos. Division 1 West, Tenby Kidwelly was postponed. So Saturday's games, we got Kidwelly against Vellinville, Buddyport travelling to St. Clair's, Larne travelling to Swansea Uplands, Tenby hosting Lambert, and Hendy hosting Welaeth. Division 2 West, no games. So Betos against Aberaeron, Fishguard hosting Pencloud, Nantgaredig travelling to Lacha, Carmarthen Athletic going to Pontedlais, and Whitland hosting to Croyce. In 2 West Central, Bryn Aman 31-28 win over Mumbles. Go on the Greens. And this week they are hosting South Gower. 3 West, we've got Neyland winning 43-6 at home to Am United. Games this week, Am United travelling away to Cardiff, Llandilo hosting North Athletic, Neyland hosting Huw's new Dock Stars. I haven't said that for a while. Trimsaran hosting Haverfordwest, and Milford Haven travelling to Tumble. 4 West, 2 results here. Tenby Athletic winning 29-7 at home to Tyrone Crymych, and Pontyberem with a 10th successive win, undefeated in the league this season, 64-0 against Llangwm. Games for this week, Newcastle Emlyn Dreigiau at home to Llanybydr, Pembroke Dochal against travelling to Llangwm, Pembroke hosting Pontyberem, and St David's travelling to Tyrone Crymych. And 4 West B, no games, so fixtures. Furnish Llandibby has disappeared from All Wales Sports, so I don't know what's happening with that one. Cefneithion are hosting Llangadog, Panderfynon travelling to Fulbay, Pennebank hosting Binya, and Tregaron hosting Pontiates. Over in the women's game, fixture this week in the Premiership, Buddyport travelling to Annesty. In the Championship, one result, Haverfordwest winning 57-20 at home to Gwynedd. They get to return the favour now when they travel to Gwynedd this weekend. Lambert hosting Llantwit Vardra, Whitland travelling to Old Penarthians. In the West Wales League, no fixtures this weekend, but we do have one result with Pembroke won a stonking 41-10 away to Newcastle Emlyn. And some youth games, just run through quick. So it's Cup week for them, quarter-final stage. In the Cup, Am United are hosting St Albans. In the Plate, Furnace hosting Kylie, Newcastle Emlyn going to St Geneth, St Clair's hosting Lacha. In the Plate, Vellinville travelling to Gilvercock, and Pennebank travelling to Penalta. And in the Shield, Lampeter are travelling to Cwmbran. That is it. Nice and quick. Are we happy, boys? Happy that we've seen everything?
It was too quick, Matt.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did you need me to go back? Do I need to talk about anything else?
Just do the whole thing just one more time.
Okay. So starting in the okay, Christ, we've been banging on to the Edinburgh game now. So Scarlets travelling to Edinburgh Friday night. It's going to be a cold one. It's going to be a fun one. The Edinburgh have a good following. I've looked at the tickets sales for this one, and there's not a lot of seats left.
They have a very loyal following.
You're gonna need after this. You're bloody gonna need one.
So Edinburgh currently 13th in the table on 10 games played, 3 wins. So same number of wins as us. We're only 3 points behind them.
They beat Benetton away, and in the Champions Cup they beat Gloucester at home, and maybe someone else I can't remember. Yeah. I think they're on 3 wins for the season. Something. Oh no, sorry, no, 3 years for this year. Sorry, for this year. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. So since January they've had 3.
So I don't know what kind of team they're going to have, because they didn't have any players in the Scotland lineup for the England game, in the starting team anyway. The coach isn't much loved, but I don't know. I mean, what's our team going to look like?
So
we've got our first choice front row apart from Elias, so it'll be Warthog and Harry Thomas as hookers. Our second rows are all fit and available, I believe.
As far as we're aware.
Yeah, Josh has been released, right?
Which is massive.
That's huge, yeah.
So
And
that's good.
obviously Fletch. And
So
then
that-
will it be Dan Davis? Oh no, Jared Taylor
Matt.
probably.
Taylor.
Could be Max.
Could be Max.
Could be Max.
Taylor on the bench.
So the pack's looking all right then.
Pack's looking
Pack's
good.
decent.
Bench. We didn't trust Harry Thomas coming off against Bennett, and I don't know what that means. But
we have no idea. He could have had a niggle or something as well. We don't know.
Yeah.
Scrum half. Got all our scrum halves.
Yeah, but it's going to be Carwin at 10, so it's probably going to be Cowdo again.
Yeah.
Archie on the bench.
Yeah. And then it will be Johnny and Joe.
Johnny and Joe. We'll have Jack Davis, Tom Rogers, and
Tommy Lewis.
It's going to be. I think it should be Tommy
Max.
Lewis, but Page. I think Page to the bench.
Yeah. And then a full bench cover. So Archie at 9. We're going 5-3, right? We're starting Carwin. We have to go 5-3.
So who's the cover 10?
Johan Nicholas.
Johan Nicholas, or is there any chance of Billy McBride coming back down?
We haven't heard anything yet, and I would have thought, it's Monday night now. I would have thought they would have said something by now. There's obviously still a chance, but it seems like I can't remember what day of the week they announced him before Benetton. So
it was Monday during the day, I think, wasn't it? Like it's too late now. I think you're right. Gosh, yeah. Then
or do we go 6-2 and just have Archie and Max? And then yes, it's a tricky one.
Who's our 10 cover? Jack Davis?
I mean, technically speaking, Gabriel McDonald had some experience on the weekend. Maybe he fancies 10 cover, but we need him for Quinn, so no.
We could do worse. I'm guess if you went 6-2, well, even if it's 5-3, then I think your 10 cover is the closest thing we have is Jack Davis.
No, he's not.
Max? Who are you putting in?
I think it has to be Nicholas, really. I think that's literally injury cover. That's not for actual tactical reasons.
This is exactly the sort of game that Johan Nicholas is in the squad for, to be fair.
Yes.
We lament his presence at times, but this is the Nicholas hour is upon us. Yeah. And I think forwards then.
I'll be honest, Lou said it's a bit of a toss-up. It could be Josh Morse. It could be Alec Hepburn. I do firmly think that obviously Sock is.
I think the point is, Tane aside, we've got a full complement of forwards, and Tane and Elias aside, we're still first choice back.
Yeah.
I think we're
good.
I think we're winning this one.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And I don't mean that in the way that we always say we're winning something. I think we're winning this one. I'm
going to say this is going to be very similar to the last time we played a Scottish team around an international window. 23-0 was a nice scoreline. I'm not going to say it's going to say them again. They'll probably get 3 from the tee.
Is it because I say something outrageous, you have to go even more outrageous than that and say we're going to
bang on, yeah. You set the bar, I got to smash it.
I just think they had a good showing against Leinster just before, at the beginning of the international window. But since then, or before then rather, they lost at home to the Bulls. They squeaked a win against Benetton. Benetton aren't great this year. If Sammy had been starting for us, we definitely would have beaten them. That's nothing against Carwin. That's just, they are on a really bad trajectory. No one seems to be happy that they've retained what's his name, the head coach.
That's the point. What's his name?
Yeah, Sean something. I can't remember what he's called.
Everett.
Sean Everett. That's it. I just don't see them having, and they're missing who. They're missing Gilchrist,
I haven't seen who's released.
Dewey and Graham, definitely.
Well, they're not going to have any players involved who were there like in the Wales game, are they? So Duhan's not going to be there.
Darcy.
Oh yeah, he was on the bench, so he's not there. Gilchrist won't be there. Schoeman won't be there. That's already that's already massive.
Schoeman is huge.
Yeah,
Schoeman is fucking huge.
and so I think realistically, I think we have a better than normal shot against Edinburgh.
Like I think I back us against Edinburgh regardless of the time of year, but I think we're in a better position than them right now. Considering who is available and is not. You just look at how important the likes of Schumann and those two wingers are to that Edinburgh team.
Because they're going to have Piers O'Connor, and I can't remember who they've got now. But can
we stop trying to guess the Edinburgh team, please?
It's fun. Leave us be.
Harry Patterson, he'll be there. But if Carwyn Leggett-Jones comes on and he's kicking like he has done for the under-20s, they are going to have and he's not kicking contestable very much. He's kicking territory, and I love it. And so we're going to see them put under a lot of pressure. I think.
The thing is, there's so much wind at the Hive. So much.
Low and hard, Matt. Low and hard. It's exactly how he wants it.
I think we found the name for this week's episode. Low and hard.
That's that's how we like it.
How he came up with it.
What was it again, Hugh?
At what cost, elow?
Oh, yeah.
That's shit in comparison. Change it. We'll go for the other 10. Bloody rated comment. Okay, predictions.
Scores by 2.
Genuinely 1 point win. Like narrow, but I reckon we get it.
No, scores by 6, I reckon.
6-0.
No, I said they'd get 3, 9-3.
Hey, if it's windy, if they concede a penalty in our half, we're gonna kick it.
Oh well, yeah. What was he? He shot like 50-odd meters again, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think 51 was his max. It was windy, to be fair, but still, even in the conditions, it was really, really, really good.
There's so much we haven't covered, and we've gone on for too long as it is. So thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe. Look at the Shopee thing below if you're on YouTube. Yes, I'm pointing down. I hope it's there. Hype if it's an option. Comment, subscribe. All that crap, and we'll do it all again next week. Thank you, boys, for doing this to me. It was fun, a lot of fun, and we now have to work on removing Huw from next week. Okay, catch you all next week, boys. Bye again. Thank you.
Bye.